this light works. Weird backlighting. Network error. What? Alright, hang on a second. Why is there a network error? Okay, that's weird. Alright, looks like this light is so bright. Maybe that way a little bit. Okay. Why can't I see? Sorry, I haven't done this in a while. Bear with me. Hi, everybody. It's been a few months since I streamed last time. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Let's see. There we go. Oh, hey. Let's do this. What is up? Good to see you, man. Yeah, that's the Phantom. Yep. You can see it right here. How you doing, man? It's been a while. Alright. Sorry for the rough start there a few minutes ago, but I think we're up and running. So, yeah, I'm working on a Phantom sketch cover, and this is actually going to be a blank sketch cover, or a blank sketchbook rather, that on my Wi-Fi is going out. So sorry, looks like we're having some Wi-Fi issues. It keeps going in and out. Hopefully it won't do that too much. God dang it, it's doing it again. So let's make sure the Wi-Fi is stable here before we get too into this. Test my connection real quick. Yeah, that's plugged in. Okay. Yeah, Happy New Year to you, man. Doing good. Hanging in there, keeping busy, trying to make some art. Alright, so the Wi-Fi might hiccup from time to time. Hopefully not, but let's make sure everything's plugged in properly. That could be an issue. I think I might have had a loose connection in my hub. So, alright, let's just get going here. So yeah, Happy New Year so far, everybody. Where's my other inking pens? There they are.
She's watching you run around and look at stuff.
So yeah, this is actually going to be, so what I was saying earlier, this is going to be like it's a sketchbook with a blank sketch cover on it. So the customer is going to have other artists do sketches on the inside of the pages. So he wanted me to do the cover. So with the logo on it, so I had to draw the logo on it too. So that was kind of fun. All right. Let's see. So I'm just going to start inking this. Feel free to hang out and watch me draw. Get my reference ready. Had to look at the gun to get it right. Sorry for the harsh lighting, but let's see here. Oh, keep knocking my hub over. I'm just using these kind of cheap microns. I got it. Where did I get these? Hobby Lobby, I think. But they do the job. Yeah, I got a few more sketch covers to get caught up on after this one. Alright. Should be filming this in 4K, by the way, so hopefully the image quality is a little better, even though the lighting's kind of... Maybe you can see it a little better. Put the lighting on it. There we go. Okay. So yeah, I used to... One of my old cover gigs back in the day was actually drawing the Phantom. I think... How many did I do? I did... like 5 or 6 covers, I think, for the Phantom series. So like over in Australia, the Phantom is like, well, over like European, but especially Australia, New Zealand, it's really huge over there. It's sort of like the Phantom is kind of like Superman or Spider-Man. It's just there's a huge following for the character. So anytime I did covers, I would get offers from collectors from Australia, usually wanting to buy the original artwork. So I would pretty much almost, I think all of my covers for the Phantom are owned by different collectors in Australia. Because the character's just so huge over there. And I don't know, I'm not super familiar with, other than I know Lee Falk created the character, and King Features Syndicate ran the comic strip, very early on. So I don't know beyond that, like a whole lot of history with the character and background with it, but I don't know why it's so big over there, but it is. But I was never like a huge Phantom fan to begin with. I was familiar with the character, but um, because I got offered the to do the covers for it, I just thought, yeah, why not? It's different, and um, I think at the time I was doing Star Trek and Star Wars, so I wanted to branch out a little bit and try something different. And it was kind of like with Doctor Who. Like, I'm not a huge Doctor Who fan, but when they offered me the covers, I was like, yeah, why not? Let's try something different. So, that's how I ended up doing the Phantom. Basically, the publisher got in touch with me, and I think it was at a Comic-Con, and they're not around anymore. I think it was Moonstone Books was the publisher I worked with for a number of years, and I think I did a couple other things for him too besides Phantom, but did some other books for him, a few other covers here and there, but yeah, so but I had fun drawing the Phantom. So it's kind of nice to revisit this character. So last year, when I got this commission, the customer was a big fan. I guess he was familiar with my work on this series, so he thought I'd be perfect for this. And he asked me to do the cover to the sketchbook. I was like, yeah, sure. Yeah, it's I know. Yeah, that's right, Andy. It Phantom was hopped around. I think DC had it at one point, so I think King Features Syndicate is the license owner. Um, they're they did like comic strips for decades and decades. Like Popeye, for example, and like I think they have like Mandrake the Magician, and I even think they did the Flash Gordon comic strip. So, but for the comic books, they had a lot of different publishers over the years attempt different Phantom comic book series. I don't think Marvel ever had it, but I know DC did. I remember the DC Phantom comics back in the day. And there's been a few other publishers here and there. And then, of course, Moonstone back in I think it was mid 2000s when I did stuff for them. So yeah, he's kind of like a cult character. He's not really big in the U.S. I mean, there was that goofy Billy Zane movie, which is fun, not perfect, but it's fun. Um, has a very Rocketeer feel to it, um, and I think I saw that in the theater. Was that 1994? I think I remember. I think I worked at the movie theater when that came out, or around that time anyway. Um, so yeah, that's what most people kind of remember here in the U.S. when they think of the Phantom. They think of the Billy Zane movie, which was pretty cheesy, but it was still fun. It worked overall. Um, And but I mean, I guess he does have a history here in the U.S. too with the comic strip and stuff. But I figure out how I want to. So yeah, I'll probably end up doing that logo last, just because. Yeah, I'll save that for last. Oh wow, yeah, Cy Berry. Keith Williams, yeah, cool. Yeah, so you know your Phantom artists, that's cool. Um, yeah, I'm familiar with their work. I probably wouldn't be able to like. I don't have it memorized like some artists, but I do know their names. I couldn't tell you their style of Phantom or who drew what, but I kind of know what the Lee Falk Phantom looks like, and I looked at a lot of that. Did you were you watching Brian Miller stream earlier, Andy? I imagine you were. I just every time Brian is streaming, I always see you in there. So um, I know. I think he was on earlier. So I wanted to make sure I went on after he was done or when he was wrapping up. So I know he does his Tiki Tuesdays. Oh, you were at a movie screening. Oh, because I was a little late because a movie screening, but you caught most of it. What movie was the screening for? Hopefully, it was something good. Was it something new? Oh wow, nice. Chaos Walking. Yeah, that movie got delayed. Got pushed back because rumors were it was unreleasable. The Daisy Ridley Tom Holland movie. Um, Mads Mikkelsen. I still want to see it. I don't know. Can you? Are you allowed to share your review, or is it? Are you bound by contract to not discuss your thoughts on it yet? Because I'm curious to hear if it's any good or not. Because I heard it was unreleasable. Oh, and there went my. There goes my Wi-Fi. See, why does it do that?
It's bad.
I know it shouldn't do that at all. It keeps my Wi-Fi cuts out from time to time. Maybe like I don't know if it's too much. Are you streaming video? Maybe.
No,
Oh.
I'm not even on the Wi-Fi.
Oh. Okay. Then that can't be it. Then okay. I don't know why the Wi-Fi cuts out. So yeah, you can't see anything until it releases. I figured if it was a screening. Did you go to a theater to screen it? I'm not going to judge you because yeah, I still go to the movies when I can, even though I wear my mask and social distance. But I was just curious if they did like a screening in an actual theater, or if it was like a virtual thing or something. Oh, okay. They were super strict about seating and masks. Yeah, most theaters are. I've seen a few movies last year, Tenet and Bill and Ted and Empire Strikes Back and
Wonder Woman.
oh yeah, Wonder Woman. Yep. And they've been pretty strict about seating and pretty safe. So every time I've gone to the theater, I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, don't go to the theater during." It's like, yeah, I mean, if you don't have to go, you shouldn't. But as long as you take precautions and you're really smart about it and safe about it, um, the theaters I've been to have been really clean and very safe. So I haven't felt, and there's very little people there anyway. So like every time I've gone to a movie, there's hardly been people there.
There are a lot of people for Wonder Woman. That was the most.
Oh, yeah, I guess there were a lot of people at Wonder Woman. Well, not a lot, but it was, yeah, more
It
than,
was the biggest crowd size we've seen yet.
yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I can't wait to hear your thoughts on Chaos Walking. That's really loud.
Sorry.
It's okay. It picks it up.
Almost done.
That's other artwork being made in the background.
Nails trying not to be broken.
What?
I said a nails trying not to be broken.
This is very, very Expo marker-esque sounding. Expo marker, what's that?
That's the dry erase markers.
Oh, dry erase markers. Okay. All right. Yeah, very Expo. That's what Andy says. Hey, what's up,
Yeah.
Neil?
Done.
Neil Baker in the hizzy.
Oh.
What's up, Neil? Good to see you, buddy. Hey, thanks for sharing the phone screen for my artwork. That's cool. So Neil is one of my patrons on Patreon, which I need to update a little more often because the last couple months I've been a little MIA on there. But I just shared some new art and shared some new desktop wallpapers and phone wallpapers and stuff. So yeah, Neil he used one of my wallpapers for his phone, which is pretty cool. Much appreciated. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, you're welcome. Glad you liked them. I'm gonna probably share some more art here this weekend on there. I've got just finished a painting for Halloween for the Halloween art book, so I probably will put a little preview of it on my Patreon for people to check out early, since the art doesn't come out until October. I think the book is scheduled for release in October, which makes sense, but hopefully they hit that deadline. So I'm thinking I might share a piece or a preview at least of it here this weekend on Patreon, and then got some other announcements to make for some upcoming artwork. So yeah, if you're just now joining me, I'm drawing the Phantom, and it's for a sketch cover. As you can see, they wanted the logo on there, so I had to put the title in there too. Hey, what's up? Awesome, thank you. That's cool. Thanks for rating my channel. Good to see you. It's a lot of people. So, yeah, if you're just joining me, just work on the sketch cover. drawing the Phantom. It's not Star Wars tonight, unfortunately. Normally I usually have something Star Wars related on here. Not every time, but most of the time. And yeah, the sketch cover. Nice. Hey everyone, hello. Nice. Thank you. Yeah, this is a sketch cover for a collector. Same guy that commissioned me for the Captain America sketch cover I did on here a few months ago. So it's the same collector. And he wanted the classic Phantom. And then I have I think on deck I have a Batgirl commission I need to do that'll be after this. And I do have another Star Wars one. That's right. I've got the Jedi Temple Guard I need to finish too. Cog ass. Hello. Yeah, welcome all raiders. Cool. I guess you guys were. Oh, sorry for the Wi-Fi. It keeps cutting out occasionally. Hopefully it comes back. Oh God, this Wi-Fi sucks. Why is it doing that? Sorry for the Wi-Fi. Yeah, it seems like I'm gonna have to really look into why my Wi-Fi is choking on occasion. Let's see. Low latency mode. An advanced menu. Yeah, sorry for the buffering. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, this is the Phantom. Yeah, the Billy Zane movie. That's right. Oh, why does it keep buffering? That's crazy.
Because the Wi-Fi is too minimal for what you're doing, and you're also broadcasting in 4K.
Maybe that shouldn't have anything to do with it, though. So, oh, you don't notice any buffering on your end? Okay, all right, that's cool. Well, I see it occasionally on my end, so sorry, it's disrupting me a little bit. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a few months since I streamed last time, so I figured I was overdue, and I do have some big painting projects coming up soon, so I don't normally get to stream those since those are NDA kind of projects. So I'm not really supposed to stream those, but I'm gonna try to stream in between working on those paintings. I have a Iron Man one to do, and I might have some more Star Wars stuff coming up soon, and then hopefully the next few weeks. So yeah, I was talking earlier. Most people remember the Phantom from the Billy Zane movie, and he's actually the character's got a really huge cult following in Australia, New Zealand. Like the Phantom is like he's like Superman over there, like Spider-Man. He's really big, and I don't know why that is, but someone who probably knows more history of the character better than I do probably knows why. But back when I used to do the covers for the Phantom comic book, God, it's probably over 10 years ago now. I would always sell my original art to collectors in Australia and New Zealand. And then I came to find out that it was just really big over there. So it has a really big fan base. Maybe it has to do with the jungle and all that, but yeah, maybe Lee Falk is from there. Maybe that's where the character originated from, the creator of the Phantom. So I bet Neil knows. Neil, I bet you know why the Phantom is really big in Australia. You're a smart guy. You know this stuff.
in the fictional African country of Bengala.
Yeah, it takes place in Africa. Yeah, you can talk about the NDA stuff. It's just us. Yeah, Lee Falk is from Missouri. Oh, that I did not know. So that's good to know. Wondering, I don't want to ink those clouds. Do I want to ink the background? Eh, I don't think I'll ink the background. Andy says maybe Australians just really identify with the color purple. He is a purple, very purple
in
superhero.
Australia, the Australian Women's Mirror began publishing the strip in 1936. Fur Publications has published a fortnightly Phantom comic book since 1948, celebrating 60 years of uninterrupted publication in September 2008. So it's just really big in Australia.
Yeah, it's just been published there a long time.
In New Zealand.
Yeah, New Zealand. So I think in America, like they didn't run the strip, the Phantom strip in America. Like probably, I think it
did, but just
well, I know it ran in the U.S., but it probably expired at some point, or they quit publishing it as a comic strip because I don't even think comic strips are a thing anymore. Anyway, in newspapers, are newspapers even a thing?
Yes, they are.
What are newspapers? What are comic strips?
What is love?
What is love? Don't hurt me.
Okay.
No more. What is love?
Help.
Oh my god. Yes, old people like me still get the New York Times. Yep. That's funny. I know newspapers are still a thing, but like it's so weird. It's such a weird concept. Like our neighbor across the street just every day gives us the local paper and I don't read it. I just throw it away. God, he's not on Twitch. I can say this because he's like 80 something. I don't want to hurt his feelings, but yeah, so I don't really read the newspaper. I know newspapers are still a thing, but it's just I was kind of being jokey, but yeah, I don't really read them either. I get all my fake news from the internet. And Andy says, I like Ashley's fact checking. It's like watching the news.
Thanks.
I love the aesthetics of the Phantom. Yeah, I do too. I think that Neil's got a point because when they offered me the comic book series, it was, like I said, it was over 10 years ago. It was probably like 2000, I think it was like 2006 or 2007. So however long, yeah, that's like whatever, 13 years ago. I think it was 2007 when I started doing the Phantom comic book. I was doing covers. And even though it wasn't like Spider-Man or Superman or Batman or anything like that, I like the pulpiness of it, the Indiana Jones kind of feel. It had like a Rocketeer, the Shadow, which I love the Shadow. I used to collect those Michael J. Kaluta comic books. I was a big fan of his work growing up, and his version of the Shadow. So the Phantom kind of hit some of those spots for me where I was like, oh yeah, cool. This is something different. It's in that wheelhouse of Indiana Jones, and I was familiar with the movie, so I kind of knew what I was getting into and stuff. So it was different. It was fun. I did like 6 or 7 covers. I can't remember, but I had some concepts for some other ones, and then I think the publisher ended up going out of business before I could get to those other covers. They did pay me though, so that was nice. Not every small publisher comes through sometimes, but they were good for paying me. So your brother and you used to fight over the Sunday comics. Nice, that's funny. Yeah, I miss the Sunday comics. That was a big deal growing up. Like
It still
They still have Sunday
Yes.
comics? Okay, all right.
We just don't read them.
I guess because I don't see comic strips anymore. It's like I know newspapers are still a thing, but like, do they publish comic strips still?
It's very, very, very small. Yeah.
I would think, yeah, it's a pretty exclusive kind
It's
of.
wicked small. It's like 2 pages at most now.
All right. I know you didn't doubt that I knew papers. I know. I'm too literal. I have to explain that.
Use Drax.
Yeah, I'm like Drax the Destroyer. I tend to think I'm invisible sometimes. Oh, hey, what's up? Amanda Gilliam, what is up? Good to see you. Doing the sketch cover for the Phantom right now. If my Wi-Fi doesn't choke like it's been doing. So yeah, good to see you. Amanda interviewed me for her podcast. I think I want to say it was a couple months ago. Was it November or December? It was a little while ago. Not that long, but that was fun. So I think it was a couple months ago. I think it was back in November. So yeah, thanks for hanging out and watching me doodle. I'm gonna try to get this at least fully inked tonight, and I'll probably get the marker started for it. Hopefully, I don't know if I'll get it done tonight. We'll see.
I don't think you have anything else.
Well, it just depends how long this takes. So if I don't want to be on here for like 6 hours, even though I've done that before. Most people have set schedules when they stream, and then they'll do it for like an hour or two every week, and then I'll do like one burst at 6 hours once every 2 months. God dang, I want that.
Get an eraser.
Like this?
Yeah.
Or a click eraser?
Actually, yeah. Like, yeah. I'll put it back.
I have 2 of them. I already have another one here. Thanks. Yeah. Oh, there it goes buffering again. Why is my... hate when it does that. Hang on, I'm gonna check my wires again real quick. Make sure everything is plugged in properly. I don't want any more buffering on my end. Alright. Like a scrap piece of paper. Camera's fine. I should probably turn Siri off. I think what happens is sometimes Siri gets activated, like the audio, and then it like realizes I'm not trying to talk to my phone. Don't like this pen. Let's go back. Let's find something smaller. Is that 1.05? Oh yeah, thanks. Thanks Paxi Prime. I appreciate it. Yeah, years of practice, years of inking myself. I have a pretty tight drawing though, so like, or my sketches tend to be pretty tight in general. So when I go to ink them, it's a lot easier for me to. It's a lot easier for me to get my lines smooth, I guess. I'm and plus when I'm inking myself, it's easier. I know what my line weights are supposed to look like and where the light sources are and all that jazz. So I do a lot of. It's a little rough. This pen doesn't want to work on the paper as smoothly as I like, but yeah, I do a lot of digital these days. But I was trained traditionally. So my whole start in my career and everything was comic books, and that's how I learned to draw and how I came up in the industry and how I learned all my techniques and stuff. So, even though I do a lot of like fully digital, realistic painting, I still have a background in cartooning and comic book illustration. So, yeah, years of inking. I used to do a lot of just straight up. Just straight up pen and ink work, a lot of grayscale work. I mean, I was doing color. I was painting early on too, but I was painting traditionally a lot, and then digital kind of in the mid 90s started to be more of a thing, and that's when I started kind of experimenting with more digital work. And I was still doing inking and painting and stuff, but yeah, so I always have those inking skills to fall back on. Yeah, this is just a really cheap pen, by the way. They don't, honestly, they're not that great. I'm having trouble even on this Bristol board paper stock. They're just, I don't know if you can see them. Looks like my signal's a little behind on my computer when I. These are, what are these? Master's Touch. Like, they're really cheap pens I got at Hobby Lobby. But I also use, I have some Prismacolor ones, which I like these, which I probably should be using anyway. These were working well for me the other day. I did a commission or a sketch piece, so I thought, yeah, I'll use them on this. And it's just the paper's not 100% with them. They're doing okay, but some of the tips aren't as strong. But yeah, they're just Master's Touch, Fine Art Studio. They're like really cheap inking pens I got at Hobby Lobby for like, I don't even know. I think I paid like $12 for a pack of them. That's what they look like right there. I use microns normally, like those kind of tech pens. Yeah, Hobby Lobby. I go to Michael's too, not just there's. We got a new Hobby Lobby here in town not that long ago, so I'll go there sometimes.
I will not.
Huh?
I will not go
Why?
there.
Oh, because of like their politics or something?
Yes.
Yeah, aren't they like? What's their deal? Are they anti-LGBTQ or they're Christian? Or no, they stole a bunch of like museum stuff too.
That too.
That's right. They're like
run by.
Yeah, they're run by like horrible. Yeah, beggars can't be choosers. So
So I order from Blake or
well, I go to Michael's. I do go to Michael's more often. I've been to Hobby Lobby like twice, but Yeah, they didn't. They got in trouble for like
Their founder stole
the
Middle Eastern.
Middle Eastern artifacts. They were smuggling Middle Eastern artifacts.
Because they were supposedly in the Bible, and it's just like
Sounds like a job for the Phantom. Yeah, and they are thieves. Yeah. Oh, they refuse to pay for women's health care. Okay.
that too.
Okay, yeah. I'll go there less, I promise. I usually go to Michael's anyway, but I got these at Hobby Lobby, and you get what you pay for. I mean, they're usually my philosophy is anything that makes a mark, I'll draw with it, as long as it's not, I use all kinds of different tools. Like, I think my preference is usually like Micron because they're cheap and effective as well. The Prismacolors are a little bit more money. So I'll use these sometimes. I might switch up here in a minute anyway, but yeah, no, I will refrain from promoting Hobby Lobby on my stream. For everything I buy at Hobby Lobby, I have to donate to Planned Parenthood. All right. What did Paxi Prime say up here? I forget. I don't think I answered all your questions. I used to transfer paper in a light box. Yeah, I used to do that too. Yep. Glass painting is kind of cheating. There's no real cheating in commercial illustration. I mean, I use light boxes. I do transfers like carbon transfers because it's really quick and fast, and I don't have room for a big projector like Drew Struzan uses. He has a big projector because he has a big studio, and he can, project the photo down onto the paper and just draw over the photo that way, which I would love to do, and I've done that before, but I just don't have the room for it here. So yeah, I mean, in commercial illustration, tracing isn't really cheating because you're having to match a specific likeness or a very specific look or style or a specific actor's likeness, and the studio or the publisher wants it to look like that character, so you can't just you're not proving anything by drawing it out of your head. You're just driving yourself crazy that way. So using a projector or carbon transfer or a light box, that's all part of being a successful commercial illustrator as far as I'm concerned. And that's something Drew Struzan taught me early on when I would study his work and read his interviews. So. When it comes to paper and inking, I don't get the lines to look right. Just drawing in general, my own stuff is very daunting because I struggle with proportions and stuff. Yeah, it's not easy. The other thing is, like, even though this is cartoony and comic book, I studied anatomy for years. I took like 5 years or probably 6 years of figure drawing courses in about 4.5 years time for art college. So I would double up on my figure drawing courses whenever I could, and that's how I learned how to draw people, because I knew I wanted to be a comic artist one day, and I really love drawing people anyway. So, and I studied anatomy and figure drawing, and that was really helpful for sure for my career. Just that way, when everyone struggles with like hands or feet or faces or whatever, and I think early on my thing were feet. Kind of how like Rob Liefeld struggled with those and always hit them in smoke. I had trouble drawing feet in perspective, but that was really early on, probably even like high school, and I ended up kind of getting over that by college anyway. But I used to look at my Star Wars. I had my 12-inch Star Wars dolls, the old ones from like Kenner, and I had a Boba Fett one where the boots were very realistic and they looked like superhero boots because of the way they were sculpted. So I would pose my Boba Fett doll in certain angles, or I would hold it up and look at the foot at a certain angle as I would sketch and draw if I had to draw a character like his foot in a certain angle. So that's how I learned how to draw feet, was with my Boba Fett doll. which I don't have anymore because it broke, but that was heartbreaking.
It's not like you're hurting for Boba Fett.
I know. Now I have too many Boba Fett dolls. The secrets you learn on my late night Twitch streams.
You can pull your hot toy off the kitchen.
Yeah, now I have like hot toys. I have like 3 hot toys of Boba Fett. Well, not 3, but I have.
And the Mandalorian.
Well, I have the Mandalorian Boba Fett, and then I have a Koto Bukaya Boba Fett, and yeah, I think I have 2 Boba Fett statues, and I have more in storage somewhere. So yeah, too many Boba Fett things. But
So many Bobas.
that is the saddest story I ever heard. Rip Boba Fett. Yeah, Paxi Prime says a lot of his friends use Copic markers.
That's what we do.
Yeah, I use a lot of Copics too. Actually, you can see, I have these ready here. I do love Copic. I have a ton of gray ones. These are just some of the neutral grays, I think. These are neutral. I love Copic. So I have a bunch of Copic sketch markers. I use those as well. They're expensive. You are correct. But they are really, really great tools for sketching and coloring. Yeah, hands and profiles, yeah. Yeah, those are tricky. I think I'm going to start inking this. I drew like a bamboo border just to be decorative. All the client or the customer wanted was just, he just wanted a head sketch of the Phantom. But I kind of went all out and overdid. I went extra. I'm extra like that. So yeah, I did like a bamboo deck, but then he wanted the title anyway, so I was like, I might as well put like a little bit of background in there, and I added the bamboo border, and anyway, so it's gonna be more than just a head sketch. So he should hopefully be really happy with it. I'm using these. These are actually a little nicer. The nibs are a little smoother. These are Prismacolor, if you can see that. Prismacolor Premier. This is a 0.3, so it seems to be working okay. I'm going to use this to ink the border. See, or when I have an idea for when I draw, even with the reference, it doesn't look the way I imagine. Yeah, it comes with practice. I mean, reference is a tool. Reference is a tool like anything else, like whether it's your pen or your brush, or you got to know how to use it. So I think if you know how to use reference, and if you know how to get the most out of it, the better you know how to use the reference, the better I think your pieces end up looking, I would say. Like I always keep my reference handy. Like right now, even though you can't see on my screen, but I've got a reference photo of the Phantom and of the gun. So when I ink it, I'm always kind of looking at it as I'm drawing. Oh yeah, you have some of these pens too. Sweet, the Prismacolor. Yeah, these are nice ones. I think I got these at a Comic-Con a year or two ago.
Which ones?
These inking pens.
Oh yeah, you got them in Denver.
I did? Okay. I got them in Denver. Yeah, that's one thing I miss about Comic-Cons too, is just getting art supplies and trying new. Like I think this is the first time I've used Prismacolor inking pens. Not today, but getting that set a couple years ago was the first time I experimented with them. And usually when I go to Comic-Cons, there's always like Dick Blick or some art supplier. It's nice to check out different pens and papers and stuff. I'm going to ink ink in that mask too. So, and you can see I kind of outlined like these are all going to be like solid black areas. I'm going to put little X's in them. It's like a little inker trick. So when I go back to ink this and I see those little X's, that reminds myself like, oh yeah, I need to fill in those spots, like the ear right here too. And underneath the jawline, you got a drop shadow on the neck. And there in the deltoid, you got a little bit of an indent. So that'll be filled in with black. And then right here on the bottom of the shoulder where it connects to the chest, that'll be black too. So when I go back to fill these in, I'll remind myself like, oh yeah, I need to shade those in with black. And that's just a little old school inker trick, especially like when you're a penciler and you, like if I were just to give an inker this cover to ink, if I wasn't inking it, I would, and I'm drawing it in pencil, I would take my pencil in all the black areas, like down here, that bottom of the finger, I would, put it like in pencil, I would put an X in there in pencil just to or a few X's, just to signify to the inker when he goes to fill these in, like, okay, that's a solid black. Okay, that area is a solid black. Okay. So the way I draw and the way I ink, it's very very graphic, very stark, black and white, very comic book friendly kind of style. I'll go in and render this, and it'll be layered with grays and highlights, so it'll end up looking a little more rendered than most comic art, most black and white traditional comic art. Like I'll push the shadows and the layering and the color traditionally, but so yeah, you've seen some new watercolor markers. They're called Primrosia markers. Watercolor. I've heard of watercolor markers. I have heard of those. I haven't had a chance to play with those yet. Yeah, I'll have to keep an eye out for those. Yeah, this is just gonna be black and white. I mean, it's gonna be grayscale. I'm gonna use my Copic grays. Once I ink it in, I'm gonna use my gray markers to kind of block it in and flat it, and then I'll go back and layer it with different tones of gray. So it's grayscale, not technically just black and white, but it will have rendering and values and contrast in it. So. You've seen a lot with manga artists too. They have like a team that does all the different parts of the manga. Someone did color and blacks. Yeah. Manga books, especially in Japan, it's like serious business. I mean, there's a reason those books look so detailed, because they do have one person does the pencils, one does the ink, one does like the dewa shade, another person will do the value rendering. But that's comic books are manga over there. Comic books to them are like a much bigger deal. Here in the U.S., it's a big deal here too, but it's more prestigious to be an artist, a comic book artist over there in Japan, or even in Europe. Like they treat you like rock stars in Europe when you're a comic artist. Here it's like, oh, you do comic books? Okay, that's because everyone does comic books here, but it's kind of frowned upon in the States. It's got that stigma, like. I mean, not as much as it used to, because Marvel movies and all of that jazz has made it very accessible. But there still is that stigma with some people when they think comic books. They don't think of it as a high end art form, but in Japan they do, and also in like England and Europe, it's a much bigger deal than here in the States. So which is kind of cool, but I think American audiences now, or more and more these days, it gets more respect than it used to.
Hey, global girl. You helping? Yes, she can. She wants to stream.
That's my gag. So yeah, Amanda treats me like a. Oh, thank you. I know you do, Amanda. Thank you. Much appreciated. Got my Thor Ragnarok glass. That's kind of cool. I got these in Denver. You see Hella on the back. I think
You got that at the brewery.
yeah, the brewery in Denver.
And they're all pulled out.
That's right.
She wants to be in your streams.
There's no room right now. So yeah, it's I think nerd culture is a lot more like you say, Paxi Prime. It's definitely a lot more socially acceptable. I mean, mainstream. It's fine. Like geek culture has gone mainstream the last 10 years or so. Thanks to like Game of Thrones and Walking Dead, those kind of like nerd geek shows that maybe 10 years earlier wouldn't have been as socially acceptable to be fans of, and now it's like those were such huge hits for pop culture that those were the shows that when you go to Comic Cons, you get families who bring their aunts and uncles who've never been to Comic Cons before just to meet those actors from Game of Thrones or Walking Dead or whatever. Back when Comic Cons were a thing. So it's shows like that kind of broke through the barriers, I think, that made geek culture a little more mainstream. And now, especially the Marvel films, of course, too. Yeah. Pilmare, yeah, right. Ugh. Yeah, isn't that a cool glass? I thought I was drinking out of it, and I thought I should show it off, because it's... I don't know if you can... Actually, it says Ragnarok, but it's not licensed.
Raspberry beer.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if this was it was for the Comic-Con. It might have been licensed.
It wasn't licensed.
Oh, it wasn't licensed?
No, that's why it says Ragnarok, and it's
okay.
Not really.
Yeah, it was for raspberry beer, but it has like Valkyrie on it, and then it has what?
Not really.
Well, I know. Okay, it's pretend Valkyrie, and then it has like a silhouette of Hela on the back. But it was Breckenridge Brewery. I don't know. It was a cool. They had like they were all Deadpooled out for Comic-Con a couple years ago. They had a bunch of Deadpools. I think Deadpool. Did Deadpool 2 just come out? Was that it?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it had just come out. So during
they had the chimichanga bar.
Yeah, they had a chimichanga bar. Yeah, that's right. That was pretty cool.
I'm like, oh, we left it up for Comic-Con. We're like, taking pictures of everything.
Yeah, those are glasses you don't want to wash. You have to wash by hand. I think these have gone through the
They
dishwasher.
go through the dishwasher fine.
Oh, they have?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it doesn't look... There's a few scratches, like tiny ones, but yeah. It's,
Yeah, they were like that when we got them.
Yeah.
They were the leftovers.
Yeah, those glasses, normally you want to wash them by hand, though, just to be safe. Oh, yeah, that's Ashley in the background, yeah. I mean, there's like, I love the fact that your girlfriend's like your producer. No, Joe, it was this. Yeah, well, yeah, she is usually if I have a question on something, she Googles it really fast and then like, nope, it's this. It's like, oh, okay, thanks. I mean, 9 times out of 10, I'm usually correct. It's just that one time.
Oh my god.
One time, I'm occasionally wrong about something.
Silka. Your daddy don't want me in the streams.
There's no room for her.
I know.
I don't want to come.
He's fine.
So it makes you happy because, like, from the 4th grade to middle school, I was a big Star Wars fan. Still am, but I got made fun of a lot more than I do now. Same with manga and anime. In high school, it was weird, and now everyone likes it, which I don't mind at all. I'm glad more people can enjoy it. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the story of all of us, I think, from our generation. It's like we were all made fun of, and it wasn't socially acceptable in school to be fans of this stuff, but now all these people have grown up and now they're the ones taking their kids to the movies and the Marvel movies and
grilling you about where to go and what to
yeah,
do.
like oh, what conventions? What's the what's this mean? What does this character mean? What does this mean in this show? And like, didn't you used to throw me in the locker in high school? No, that never was a problem with me, but
I used to have
I didn't get
my
picked on
comics.
for this stuff. But yeah, Ashley did, and
Otherwise, you take my comics and put them in your own.
yeah, I know, and yeah, it's still, even though I didn't really get picked on, there was still that stigma that I didn't always feel comfortable. I mean, the thing is, in kindergarten, I met one of my best friends because of Star Wars. I mean, we were, I don't know, what were we, 4 years old or 5 years old?
Oh, Michael.
Yeah. So my friend Michael Kelly, he was like the only black kid in school too, but he brought his Star Wars figures to show and tell, and I brought mine, and we instantly bonded because he had Obi-Wan Kenobi and I didn't have Obi-Wan yet, and the toys had pretty much just come out. I think I had like 3 or 4 of them, of the action figures, but yeah, so all through school, and we went all through high school together. So, well, for part of high school, but all through grade school, junior high. So I always felt like there weren't that many. Like I had one GI Joe friend. Like one of my friends was really into GI Joe. I had one friend that was really into Transformers. So we kind of we sought each other out, even though it wasn't like socially acceptable. We all kind of like, oh, you like GI Joe, cool, and then it would be like we would bond, and we'd meet every weekend and play with our toys, at someone's house. Um, so it's kind of like, and I always had Michael there for Star Wars, and he loved Marvel and DC, and we always got into comic books together and stuff. So luckily I had that, because otherwise, if I didn't have those 1 or 2 friends, I probably would have felt more isolated in my enjoyment for these things. But yeah, I mean, I didn't really get picked on, but I know other kids did. I didn't. I would bring my stuff to school. I'd bring my comics and I'd bring my toys occasionally, but it's not like I would brag about it necessarily either. But nowadays, it's like, yeah, it's like everyone is into this stuff, which is awesome. Yeah, Amanda's right 10 times out of 10. That's right. Yeah, see, yeah, I think my ego's bad. I think Amanda's even cockier than I am. Um, don't worry, you earned it. You earned it. Um, so when I oh hey Teresa, what's up? Yeah, good to see you. Yeah, thanks, Teresa Delgado. Cool. Yeah, I think the last time I saw you was it Celebration. I don't remember. It was probably Comic Con. I know you interviewed me for Celebration. Was it the last Celebration? I think it was, or was the one before that you interviewed me? I was pretty sure it was the last one. Yeah, we talked. Um, yeah, good to see you. Yeah, nice. Yeah, it's been a while. So I guess that was a while back. I mean, last Celebration was Chicago. That was 2019. So we probably last time I saw you or talked. Yeah, I probably saw you at Celebration, and then last time we talked was probably a month or 2 before then. So yeah, thanks for coming by. Good to see you. Um, yeah, you love Transformers too. Awesome, Paxi. Nice. So yeah, when I ink in the blacks, I'm gonna use, like, I have a black marker. Like I might I won't ink them in with these small nibs. This would take forever if I had to fill in these large areas of black. So I'll use something like I don't know, like one of these. This is a concept. This is another cheap marker I got at a Comic-Con. They're called concept markers, but this one's black. So I'll probably use something like this or a Prismacolor black marker. Sometimes I'll even use a Sharpie if I'm lazy. And I'll fill in all my heavy blacks with a bigger tipped marker because it goes much faster. So. Yeah, Teresa, I remember. Yeah, you interviewed me and Brian Miller. I remember talking to you and oh gosh, your co-hosts. I know their names because I've known them forever. My brain's a blank right now. Oh gosh, her name's on the tip of my tongue. I haven't talked to her in forever either. You'll have to remind me. But yeah, I remember talking to you guys the last couple celebrations. So thank you for promoting my artwork and Brian Miller's artwork. And hopefully for this next celebration, we'll talk to you guys again on your podcast because that would be cool. Because we really appreciate the support when you guys do that for us. So thank you. Trisha Barr, and Sarah. That's right. And I met Sarah too. Yeah, I've known Trisha forever. So I couldn't. So many names. Yes, Trisha. I haven't talked to her in forever. I see her online occasionally pop up here and there, but yeah, I hope she's doing good. Yeah, I might be doing. It's a little too early to even talk about this because I just got the email today, but I might be doing some new Star Wars art for Comic-Con this summer, and I'm guessing it'll be virtual again. Like San Diego Comic-Con will probably be virtual. I'm assuming at this point. I hope not, but who knows, right? At this point, but I might be doing some new Star Wars art for virtual San Diego Comic-Con for Lucasfilm. So if I do, maybe we can talk on your podcast again, Teresa, and I can maybe show off the artwork on your pod. Well, at least on the not on the audio part, but maybe on your website you can share it or something. Nice. You still have your G1 Starscream. Yeah, I love Transformers. I'm a huge Transformers fan. I've been really digging the series on Netflix, the Cybertron trilogy. It's really good. I need to rewatch the. They're on their second series, so it's a 3-part series, and the first one was so good. Some friends of mine actually write that for Netflix. My friend Gavin is a writer on the show, and it was really good. It takes like all the old, like the Transformers myths have been like kind of all over the map between the comics and the different various cartoon series, and this new series on Netflix, not only does it look really good, the animation's amazing, but it takes all the different varied mythology of the Transformers and kind of condenses it and makes sense of it all. It's like kind of like a reboot, I guess, a retcon, but it makes sense of all of it and incorporates aspects from all of it all in one thing, and it's really really smartly written and really well done. So if you're a Transformers fan, I can't recommend it enough because it's really cool. And there's a lot of Easter eggs in there for like the G1 series, cartoon series. There's a lot of homage to the Transformers the movie, which is really cool. I won't give away any spoilers, but it definitely it keeps that in canon. Even though it reboots everything, it's still it references it in a cool way and keeps that story in canon, which kind of surprised me how they did it. So, yeah, it's just really well done. So, If you like Transformers like I do, I think you'll really dig it. Iacon. Oh, okay, I haven't heard of that one. This new Transformers online convention. Cool. Good luck with that. I hope that goes off well for him. Starscream is your fave. You cried when he died in the animated movie. Yeah, he's like one of those bad guys you love to hate, and I love that he's voiced by Cobra Commander. I think it was Chris Lasada. What was his name? Chris Lasada? Something like that. Lasada. He voiced Starscream and Cobra Commander on G.I. Joe, but he had like the best evil voice.
It was very funny.
Yeah, very flimmy. Megatron. Yeah, so I love Starscream too. I love that toy too as a kid. He's such a good villain because he's so like despicable and he's always trying to backstab Megatron and take over. He's so evil, and they do a really good job with him in the new series. Like they definitely are very true to his character, even though it's a similar voice actor. I mean, it sounds pretty similar to the original, so which is kind of cool. Oh, cool! You're friends with the guy that voices Starscream. That's awesome. So you're definitely in the Transformers fandom for sure. Another friend of yours does the music for it. Oh wow, that's cool. Yeah, I love that series. It's like I'm definitely more of a hardcore or Star Wars person, obviously, but I do love GI Joe a lot and Transformers a lot. Those were my other two religions growing up when I was a kid. So I had a lot of the toys for both of those. And of course, the cartoons and the comics and all that. Chris Latta, that's it. Thank you. I couldn't think. I knew it was Chris Latta, something like that. Um, Starscream and Megatron, two different friends, but they do an amazing job. Nice. That's pretty cool. You're friends with those voice actors. That's really cool. Yeah, the second series is called Earthrise. Right. The first series is called War for Cybertron. I think I forget what the third one's going to be called, but I think it comes out in a few months. Yeah, Paxi Prime. You have to watch it. So I watched the first. I watched the War for Cybertron. I think I watched it twice in a row because it was so good. And I watched the second Earthrise once, and then I'm gonna go back and rewatch it at some point. Um, yeah, Cobra. Then there's Cobra. La 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 la. If you know the GI Joe the movie, Cobra Law. It's so ridiculous. I'm getting down to finishing the inks where I can start filling in on him. I guess I just got to ink the gun, finish inking the hand here. So I'm going to try to ink this ring real quick. I haven't had any Wi-Fi issues, so I think my connection was just loose down at my hub, so I think that was why it was on my end. It kept flaking out and coming back, so I think if my wires get a little loose down there, I have to tighten them up. So yeah, your friend who's helping with the con, she interviewed the lady who plays Alita 1. Oh, that's cool. She's so nice. I'm so happy they have Alita 1 in the series because I don't think she's really made a decent cameo since the 80s. Yeah, I don't think Alita 1 I don't even remember her ever in the animated series. I mean, I guess she might have been in. I don't remember her in the G1 series. There was RC. A lot of people think Alita 1 and RC are the same, but they're different colors and slightly different styles. But I know RC was in the 80s series, um, but Alita 1 is a different character, so they've been using her in the new series a lot. Yeah, all the panels and stuff are online. Yeah, I've done some of those online cons for my um, yeah, for my career so far, I've had some experience with those. Oh, she was in the episode The Search for Alpha Trion. Yeah, yeah. And then she was Ariel in the War Dawn episode. Okay. Well, you definitely know your Transformers animated stuff way better than I do. I know all those old episodes, and but I don't have the titles memorized necessarily. Like I watched some of Beast Wars back in the day because one of my friends from college was directing it. But I didn't watch all of them. I didn't get too into it, but it got some really good reviews back. God, that was probably like late '90s or early 2000s. I think it was like early 2000s. So yeah, most of my knowledge for Transformers comes from the G1 era. Not really a fan of the Michael Bay movies either. Those are kind of lame, but
Kind of
yeah, mostly lame.
maybe sweet.
So yeah, so she's only in those episodes. Okay. Yeah, man, I know, right? I can't even remember. Well, everyone has their fandoms, you know. Like I would be like this with Star Wars. Like I would remember everything. Like if you asked me, like this alien's from this planet and that episode of Clone Wars, and yeah, like that's how I am with Star Wars. So I appreciate the same passion for Transformers. Always cool to meet other impassioned fans of the same geek stuff that we all love. So oh, I feel like my phone's crooked. Hang on a second. Let me fix this. There we go. I think that might be a little better. There we go. All right, I think I'm gonna ink this gun now. So yeah, this is a tool of the trade. Another trick here. Like whenever you're drawing anything mechanical, use your straight edges. Don't freehand it. Everything like if it's a gun or a building or a car, something that's not organic. Unless it's like super tiny, unless it's like really small. But um, I always use my straight edges. Um, that way, yeah, things just look better when they're sharper. That's how they're meant to look. Um, inking tip 101 there for you. Your friend who did the Alita interview is an even bigger simp for Alita than I am. That's cool. Yeah, that's a cool character. They did it really good with her in the new Transformers series. Like I always liked RC. She's like was the only female Transformer really until the only one they ever really focused on back in the day. And then this series, they're being more letting the other female Transformer characters share the spotlight, which is cool. They've done really. She's a really cool character on the show. Yeah, weapons are especially tricky, aren't they? Yeah. That's why I like to use my straight edges when I can. She's a personal thesis about Alita 1. Nice. Yeah, I love it too. That's awesome. It's a cool character if you're into Transformers. I like that they give her a history with Optimus Prime. He kind of has a thing for her, and vice versa. And they're both like born natural leaders, so they're like in the series they're more focused on saving everyone than than catering to their Transformer desires, I guess. So it's kind of a cool character arc they're putting there for Optimus. Yeah, RC's awesome. She's been legit. I swear to God, I'm going to go to Hasbro and make them read this and put Alita in more things. That's funny. Yeah, she should. I bet they will. I mean, I've seen some more of those new Transformer toys. Like they've been doing new action figures from the new cartoon series, and I've seen some of the newer characters from the series. I don't think I've seen them. They might have one out for Alita. Um, I'd be surprised if they don't at some point. Maybe like the next wave or something. They don't. You already know. Oh,
I work at Target.
I know, but I didn't know if you were paying attention. I know our friend Johnny Rockstar collects them. I call him Johnny Rockstar. It's a funny joke, but his name's Johnny Potorf. But yeah, he collects all these Transformers toys, so I kind of am aware through him what's coming out sometimes. Golly, wow, this pen is starting to fade on me a little bit. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, I guess. That's from Star Trek. That's Wrath of Khan. But also, I guess, I think they say that in Transformers the movie. Well, he says there is an Alita figure. It's a Walmart exclusive.
That's why I haven't seen it.
Okay, that's why. Yeah, I haven't seen it, so that makes sense if it's a Walmart exclusive. Yeah, she's pretty a major character on the TV show, so I'm like, yeah, they would have to do a figure of her. Like if they're doing that War for Cybertron toy line, I would think they wouldn't be able to not include her in there. So sometimes I'll make my lines a little thicker. I don't know if you can tell, but I'll double up with the with the straight edge. I'll just like nudge it just like a tiny bit, and then that way I can get some thicker lines out of it. Let's see, how do I want to draw this gun? What is that piece? Okay, I see. Oh yeah, Diamond Select figure, okay. Oh, Sentinel, yes, right. Okay, yeah, there's an Alita bust figure. I don't have it, but I did buy it as a gift from my Alita sent friend. She loved it, of course. That's cool. It was a Diamond Select figure. Nice. Yeah, those Diamond Select figures are pretty cool. That have been coming out. They've been doing some for Star Wars. I think they've done a Boba Fett. I think a Darth Maul. I think so far, or was it Darth Vader? I've seen a few of them. I wish I would have got the Boba Fett Diamond Select figure, but I think it was like $50 or something. And money is just a little tight and precious at the moment. I'll use that one. That marker's starting to flake on me a little bit. Let's go back to this one and see. Yeah, this works a little better. Yeah, there was some Attack of the Clone Bus that came out years ago. Those were through Dark Horse. Yeah, no, I think Dark Horse was doing Diamond Select stuff too, but that was back when, that was pre-2014 when, or 2015 when, before then when Dark Horse still had the license. I guess I should finish inking this ring. So yeah, and so what is this? So I'm still learning Twitch because I'm not on here like regularly like a lot of you guys are. So it says Amanda Gilliam had gifted. Amanda Gilliam presents. What is this? You gifted a subscription? Is that what you did? I'm not sure. You'll have to explain that, Amanda. Okay, when you get a chance. Because I'm still like Twitch illiterate in a lot of these things. But there's a little gift sign and a 1. And I think it's earlier it said you gifted something and I might have missed it. So. Oh yeah, that's right. Help him out, Amanda. She's on the ball there. I love when my geek friends are helping each other with information. Oh, okay. So you gifted a subscription to your channel. So that means I have someone. Oh, I have someone a 1 month. Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. Thank you for doing that. So you gave someone a 1 month subscription to my channel. Awesome. Thank you for doing that. You're amazing. I saw that Jesse was promoting Gem City for, was it later this summer? I think, was it July, maybe? I'm sure you're on the ball with that since you work with him and you're his promoter. I'm hoping that by July we can go back to conventions because that would be cool. And I would love to go back to Dayton for that show if it happens. Yeah, July 24th and 25th. Cool. Awesome. Oh wow, you're doing an online Gem City in March. Okay. I didn't know about that one. Cool. You'll have to fill me in on that. Keep me posted on how that plays out, and hopefully I can give you guys a shout out and help promote it and stuff. So do I have a favorite expanded universe book or even series or trilogy? Oh yeah. As far as Star Wars goes, I mean, the Thrawn trilogy was probably my favorite because it read the most out of all the. I haven't read a ton of expanded universe books. I mean, I've read a handful of them, but like Jedi Academy trilogy and oh gosh, what are some of the other ones I read? The first New Jedi Order book, the one where Chewie gets killed. Something Prime. Something Prime. I forget what it's called. Something Prime. Anyway, I would say the Thrawn trilogy. Heir to the Empire was really good, and I mean all three of them: Dark Force Rising, um, The Last Command. All three of those books were just so good. Like there's one scene, and it's in The Last Command for the big finale when um, they're on Admiral Thrawn's Star Destroyer, the Chimera, I think, or Chimera, and he had captured the Millennium Falcon, and they I think he had Luke and Leia. Oh, I can't remember who else was on this ship. He had captured the Falcon, and they were trying to escape the Star Destroyer. I don't think Luke was there. I think it was Leia, Chewie, maybe. No, Han wasn't there. I haven't read it in so long. But anyway, there's this scene where they're running out of options and they're about to get caught by the stormtroopers, and 3PO, who had eluded capture, um, like he pilots the Falcon, and it rises like up through the docking area in the Star Destroyer docking bay. And when I read that scene, like I could hear the music in my head and it's 3PO at the helm of the Falcon rescuing everyone. And that was like, oh yeah, this is like the greatest Star Wars book ever. But Timothy Zahn knows how to write like really good Star Wars stories. He knows how to write the characters' voices and so I would say the Thrawn trilogy is still, even though it's like the original one that kind of brought back Star Wars in 1991, the early 90s. It still really is like one of the best ones that I've read. Vector Prime. Thank you, Darth Smiles. I couldn't. What kind of Star Wars fan am I? I couldn't think of. I knew it was something Prime. Yeah, Vector Prime. That's it. With the Yuuzhan Vong, and Chewie gets killed in that one. It's pretty sad, but luckily they rebooted, for better or for worse, depending on your point of view. They rebooted the canon, and Chewie's alive, no longer smashed by a moon. Galaxy of Fear. That was like, yeah, it was a kid's book, right? Yeah, basically Goosebumps meets Star Wars. That's cool if you like those. I remember those kids' books, the Galaxy of Fear books. That's right. I remember those. Yeah, your copies are so worn out because you read them so much. Yeah. Slowly trying to collect all the expanded universe books. My mom used to go to thrift stores to pick them up for me, and I don't have many of them now. I was collecting them from Star Wars Reads Day events at the library, but I couldn't get to go. Yeah, that sucks. COVID kind of ruined everything, didn't it? Yeah, I have a ton of. Almost all my bookshelves are just filled with tons of Star Wars books. So um, I feel you there. I'm always on the lookout and collecting them too. Amanda says she loves the Thrawn series. I got them again. Yeah, the comic books were cool. They were not quite as satisfying because there's a lot of detail left out in those. But, I mean, the art was amazing. I forget the artist, Stefan. What was his name? European guy. Actually, there were a few different artists that did the Thrawn miniseries. Because then I think Terry Dotson ended up drawing like the third series, but whoever drew the first series had like a very European art style look to it, and it was really good. I really love that guy's art. Um, and yeah, those Thrawn adaptions were really cool. Miles knows all about the books. Nice. Yeah, we got our just a little bit. Is it Smiles or Miles? Darth Smiles, just a little bit. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm a pretty big Star Wars nerd, obviously, but I I know a lot because of what I do for a living and because I'm a passionate fan as well. But I couldn't tell you every single thing in the books, or I couldn't give you all the minutia of all the. Like, I know a lot about the expanded universe because I've worked in it quite a bit, but there's just so much that, yeah, it's kind of hard to keep up with and especially with all the different canons now. There's the old canon, the new canon, and like I grew up with the Marvel comic series, so back before the novels were even really huge in the 70s and 80s, and I know all the comic book mythology and all those characters really well. So yeah, I'm like an OG fan, but I've only read some of the novels here and there, not all of them. I try to do the Cliff Notes versions on Wikipedia whenever, or if I have to do research for a project, then I'll go online or I'll talk to some of my Star Wars author friends. Usually, if I'm illustrating a story, they tend to fill me in on everything that I need to know or that I've missed. So yeah, it's fun to work with the writers on that kind of stuff. Olivier Vatine, that was the guy, yes, who did the very first for the comics. That guy's art was awesome. It had like and Fred Blanchard, I think he was probably the colorist maybe, or the inker. But yeah. Huh?
Nothing. I'm just quoting How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, his artwork was really cool. I remember being influenced by his stuff from that first Thrawn series adaptation. It sounds the same. Oh well, yeah. Don't like hardcover. All my books are softcover. They take up too much space. Yeah, I have most of my graphic novels and stuff are obviously softcover. Or my novels too. My Star Wars novels are. I have a few hardcovers, not a ton. Most of them I get for free from like maybe my publisher or something.
Or when we go to those parties in San Diego.
Oh right, if I go to Comic-Con and my publisher's like, here, take some free books. I'm like, okay. So yeah, I do have some hardcovers, but yeah, they do take up a lot of space.
I just got Light of the Jedi.
Yeah, there's all those new High Republic books that are coming out now. Some hardcovers of those as well. I need taller shelves. I need more shelves. I'm running out of shelf space for my books. You have a good portion of the books after Return of the Jedi, except the Thrawn trilogy, since they are so popular. That means more expensive. Yeah, I have the first editions of. I guess they're soft covers. Yeah, they would be. I don't think I have the hard. Do I have a hardcover of Heir to the Empire? I'm not sure. I know I have the soft covers of those and their first editions because I bought them back in college when they first came out. That was really cool to back, when I was like 18 and Star Wars was all of a sudden huge again, and those novels. Those novels came out, and like me and my roommates were reading, and even my roommates who weren't as into Star Wars as I was. It was cool to see them really get into it because the novels were that well done. They felt like actual sequels to the Star Wars movies, so they were really into them.
gotten a paperback.
Yeah, I figured I did.
Nike.
Girl, there's nothing wrong with that. Girl.
What?
Girl. I'm just reading what people are writing. I'm just making voices. Oh, it's because Paxi Prime says she still lives at home, unfortunately. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Your long-term goal, cool. Yeah, to get those books. That's a good goal to have. They're good books worth hunting down if you can especially get the first editions. Alright, now I can finish this border and then I ink the gun. You can see so far as I'm chatting and inking, kind of taking me a little longer as I'm reading and talking, but that's okay. Sorry if I am not going fast enough for some of you out there. How long have we been streaming anyway? I don't even know. It's probably been a few hours at this point. I have no idea. Looks like it's probably been... Yeah. Well, I'll keep going until I can get some... I'll try to at least flat this. Ah. So yeah, 2 hours. I figured. Okay. I think the longest I've streamed was probably like 5 hours. And like, I don't know. It was over 5 hours once. I was like, okay, that's... But usually at night is when I tend to work and it's quiet, and then I can tend to be able to focus a little easier. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know when I'll stop tonight, but at some point I will. We'll just see how this works out as I keep chugging along here. Just inking this bamboo border right now. See, I do have a Star Wars sketch I need to finish soon, actually. I forgot about that one. It's sitting on my desk. So I might do that one next. And then I have a Batgirl that's due for a customer, and I have to get that one going. What's everybody think of... Oh, you say you're taking off. Okay, so you gotta go. You have to be up in 5 hours to work. Videos don't edit themselves. Cool. Thanks, Amanda. We'll have to talk and touch base soon about Gem City. So keep me posted. Thanks for gifting that sub. That was awesome. You rule. We'll see you later next time, Amanda. So yeah, we'll keep in touch. Tell Jesse I said hey. Oh yeah, emotes and badges, right? Yeah, I was like, I've got so much going on most of the time. It's like I know I need to like spend time learning the Twitch, all the tricks. I know Brian Miller. When I watch his channel, he's got all that stuff now. He's got like music and credits, and he's all like got crazy buttons. And him and Andy and Evan are always. It's like a party on his channel. So yeah, I'll get there eventually. trying to ink around this logo, so I'll go back and ink the logo, and then I'll probably leave the background pencil, and I'll just grayscale it. Yeah, thanks for hanging out, Amanda. We'll see you later, and we'll talk about Gem City soon. Gem City Comic Con is one of my local comic shows I do. God, I've been doing that one since like 2000 and... When did I first do that one? 2010, 2011 maybe, I think. 2011 might have been my first one. And that one's in Dayton, Ohio, which is... it's about 3 hours south of here. So I usually drive down for that one, and they usually have that one in April. It's a smaller show, but I know a lot of the people there, so it's fun. Remember Comic Cons? Yeah, those used to be a thing. I miss Comic Cons. That's how I make a lot of my money too, but also I miss going to those events and hanging out and making friends and seeing old friends and all that jazz. So it's always fun to, just as a comic book fan, a geek for a living, getting to absorb all that stuff on a regular basis is always fun. I know, right? I miss cons too. Yeah, New York Comic Con especially, that's a good one. Yeah. You remember continental breakfasts and late night hangouts at Denny's? Yep. I miss those too. Those are always fun. Sad robot tears, yes. The sad robot emoji. I feel you, robot. Robot. Who says robot? Someone says robot. I forget who says that.
Australians?
Yeah. Robot. There's like a character that says it. I can't think of.
Yeah, it's Thea from Bill and Ted Face the Music. It's like Killer Robot.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking of her, but yeah, it is. Yeah, it's usually like a Australian or European thing or something. Oh yeah, it's coming along. I've just been inking. I got some line weights in there, not a lot, but I'll probably beef up some of them. I'll start to fill in the blacks too on these. I gotta shade them in. So it doesn't look like much right now, but when I'm done with this, it should look pretty cool, I think. Right now it just looks like kind of like a coloring book, right? Still got a lot of rendering to go on this. You're so bummed because you're taking a trip and flying somewhere at least once every year, and this last year I didn't get to go anywhere. Yeah, I do so many Comic Cons. I was leaving usually 3 times a month, so at least twice a month. For the last 5 years, I think I was probably doing a ton of shows. So hopefully it'll be nice to go back to that when we don't have an insane president. Now we have one that actually wants to help people. We'll all get vaccinated, and hopefully by this summer, God willing, we can start thinking about conventions again. What is she doing?
She's attacking her bubble bed.
Uh-oh. My cat is attacking her bubble bed. She made a bed out of my bubble wrap, so I left it there so she can lay on it.
Now she's
And now she's murdering her bed.
She just pulled it.
Oh,
no!
Oh, don't throw up on my stream. Can we see her?
No, she's behind you.
My cat just hurled. What did she eat too much cat food?
Yeah,
again?
she was eating when I went in the kitchen, so.
Great.
Oh, T, I'm sorry you're sick.
Yeah, my cat throws up like every day, at least once. She just overeats, and not every day, almost every day. Yeah. Kitty, no.
Oh, that's a lot of food.
Yeah, she just overeats, and there's nothing I can really do about it. And then, or sometimes it's just the occasional hairball too. But try not to give her too much food in her bowl, but it doesn't matter. She still finds a way to scarf it.
If you don't give her a lot of food, she'll eat that whole thing down and then throw up. If you give her a lot of food,
Right.
she'll still overeat.
Right. If you only give her a little, she'll just annihilate it all, and then she won't have food for the rest of the day. And
It's because she was a feral cat.
yeah, she was a feral cat when I found her as a kitten. She was barely 6 months old, like 5 months, I think. And found her on the mean streets of Sandusky and saved her life, brought her home. She was a little ragamuffin.
Give her some.
And her name is Ahsoka Tano. I named her Ahsoka. And how old is she? 6, 7?
She's 8.
She's 8? Oh my god. So, I guess she's 8 years old. I always get the math wrong, so I'm like, didn't I? I'm
You
like,
found her in 2012.
I found her in 2012. So she's, yikes.
She's 8 years old.
Because Katie was still, she was in 8th grade, I think. I found her outside my daughter's school, so. It's the same kitty, same. Yeah. That's funny. Have to feed her one nugget at a time. Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, that's a first, having my cat barf on live stream. You feel better now, Ahsoka?
Just cleaning.
She's cleaning her toes now. Like, yeah, I feel good. I'm good. It's all good. I swear she's like a little kid. I mean, it's like she has like the personality of like a little kid sometimes. Like, I'm gonna make live stream history. Yuck.
Aw,
I forgot to ink the rest of his ring right there. I've only been to one con, but I want to go to the Star Wars Celebration at least once every year if possible. Yeah, if you're going to do one convention, if you're a Star Wars fan, you have to go to Star Wars Celebration, undoubtedly. I've been to all of them except 2, and that would be Star Wars Celebration Japan, because in 2008 I was moving here to Sandusky, so I couldn't juggle both, like moving, and it was like the same month the convention was, so it was really tricky. But I almost went to Japan. I was definitely considering it because I had been to the other European Star Wars celebrations. Been to London twice and Germany once. Hopefully they'll do some European celebrations again in the future. Those were really fun. And I've been to all the American or U.S. celebration events. So actually, no, the other one was the very first one. That's right. So it's Japan and Star Wars Celebration 1 in 1999 in Denver. And that was because my daughter was like a year old, and yeah, so I didn't get the opportunity to leave Ohio to go to that one because my daughter was a newborn. You want everyone to see the pukey cat? You want to be on the... Here's my cat that throws up. Her feet are wet.
She was in the tub.
Yes. You see her? She's like, why are you manhandling me? Alright, don't walk on my art. Thank you.
Also, she was licking her feet, so.
Yeah, her back feet were wet.
Yeah, she was like really.
Like they were really wet. I was like, ugh. And now I got cat hair all over me.
No pity.
So yeah, you okay, Ahsoka? Yep. All right. Burp, burp. She chirps like a porg.
Hello. Oh, you're purring. Hi, T. Hi.
No baby noises again. That's what barf Ahsoka Tano. Yes. Because it's funny. You can, like, my stream's a little delayed, so like I could. She walked over my. You could see her like under the camera walk over the art.
She's like, don't judge me.
Yeah, she's a chatty cat. Like Ahsoka likes to talk. It's you can talk to her and she'll chirp back at you. Yeah, they postponed Celebration last year, unfortunately. So now we have to wait till 2022 for the next one. So I should be there. I was planning on attending the one that got postponed. I was all set up for it and ready to pay for my booth and all that, and then they ended up postponing it. And then they had the one in Indiana. Actually, they had Celebration 2 and 3 were both in Indianapolis. So I was at both of those. Indianapolis is my hometown, so I got to go home for those. Oh yeah, the tickets sold out pretty quickly for the day the tickets went live in 2020. That's right. They did sell out pretty quick. I know they had like the VIP one sold out like within like 2 minutes
30 seconds.
or 30 seconds. Yeah, that was insane.
I tried to get them for Charlie.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, you have to be quick to get those Celebration tickets. That's for sure. Because, I mean, luckily people end up like after they buy them all up, and you can go online and certain groups they resell them.
Light, which is the official reseller.
Yeah, the official reseller for Celebration is it's called Lyte.
Lyte.
Yeah, Lyte. So usually like Lyte will reoffer tickets that have been sold back or through other
orders that have been canceled.
Or orders that have been canceled. Yeah. So usually if you miss out on the first sale turnout of tickets, you can usually still get tickets from canceled people who cancel their orders or resell their tickets to someone else or something. So yeah, that's what you're supposed to be a website. You can buy them. That's through Celebration, right? Right. It's called Lyte. Yep, that's it. And people when they decide they can't go, they end up reselling them. Yep, that's it. I know some of our friends went to Chicago. They got their tickets that way. I think I can probably start. I gotta finish this ring real quick right here. All right. So should I do the logo or should let's do the logo? Yeah, you had a hotel booked and everything. You had your costumes planned and stuff. Yeah, it sucked because I had planned to do some new artwork, and I had my booth was booked for the show floor, and hotel was planned out through some friends, and then yeah, it just all kind of went. Kind of sucked, but that's the reality we live in right now. Yeah, it sucks that it's postponed to 2022, but at least we know, barring any future catastrophes, that we should be able to at least all go to that one. Hopefully, I'll have some new art. I'm sure I will. It's some kind of new artwork at that point for celebration in some fashion. I still have a Boba Fett painting I need to finish, and gosh, what else? Rise of Skywalker piece that I really need to do for my triptych, and might be doing some Star Wars art posters for Comic-Con this summer, hopefully, if that works out. Comic-Con in San Diego. It probably will end up being a virtual event, but yeah. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully not. I mean, that'd be awesome to get to go back to San Diego this summer, but just have to wait and see how that plays out. Yeah, the Foro Phantom. Yeah, I'm drawing the Phantom, right? So not too many people know this. You might actually see the art show up in um, my little thumbnail gallery slideshow that I'm pointing at with my pen. I used to do the covers for the Phantom comic book series back in like 2007, 2008. In that, just for a few years, I did like 6 or 7 covers. And so yeah, I have a little bit of history with the character. So it's not really Star Wars tonight, but having some old school Phantom fun here. And on this sketch cover, the customer wanted me to do the logo, so that's what I'm doing right now. Yeah, as long as people wear their masks and get the vaccine, that is correct. It is not a hoax. So the more that people wear their masks and social distance and they actually get the vaccine, I think it's like, I was reading online that at least 80% of the country needs to be vaccinated before they can start to contain the virus. And right now we're barely at 2%. Or maybe it was 6%. I can't remember. I think it's 2%, but not even like that's how far away we are from. But the last administration kind of left everything in shambles when they left, so there was no COVID plan, and vaccines are missing, and yeah. So, I mean, if we were like other countries, we might be on our way back to the world opening up, or at least the country opening up in spring. But at this point, it even looks like summer might be kind of tricky at this point. But I guess it just depends how fast they can do the rollout. And then hopefully, I know Biden was interviewed today, and he said that he was optimistic about having by summer everyone being vaccinated, or having the vaccine accessible for everyone by the summer. So, which could mean, maybe it'll be the fall by the time conventions open up or everything opens up, but we can start doing like conventions again and stuff. Hopefully it's sooner. I don't want to wait till next fall. Oh God, seems so far away. Yeah, definitely wear your masks. I wear mine everywhere as well. Um, oh, thank you, Foro. I appreciate that. Oh, he thought I was drawing the vision at first. That's funny. Oh, the artwork. It's not for High Republic. No. The Actually, I don't even. I'm not even sure yet. The stuff for Comic Con. I just started talking with my client today. It'll be through Lucasfilm, and there'll be new Star Wars posters, but I'm not sure yet what era or what property. Like, it could be Mandalorian, it could be classic trilogy. I have no idea yet. So, but yeah, if you follow me online at some point, or if you come back on Twitch later, I'm sure I'll have more news. But usually on my Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever, I usually tend to update it with that kind of news. Yeah, thank you for. I'm glad you appreciate the work. I thank you. It'll look a lot. Right now, it kind of looks like a coloring book. So I'm just kind of outlining. I mean, there's some line weights, but and I'm not real crazy about how chunky the back of his head is there. I wish, whatever, I can smooth it out with marker and colored pencil, but these pens aren't necessarily the greatest on this cover stock. But yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Right? Yeah, after working in the ER, it's like, why don't we wear masks all the time? Yeah. I used to think that was weird when you see, like, especially when I traveled, if I went to, like, Europe or wherever, and I would see, like, Europeans or Asians from wherever, Japan or China, you'd see them wearing masks, and it was like, why, are they just being, like, germaphobes? And it's like, no, it's like they're familiar with viruses and the bird flu and all those things, so they were ahead of the curve in terms of, I mean, because they didn't have a choice, and now, like, everyone is wearing, well, everyone should be wearing masks, but like, I used to be like, I wonder, like, are they just like superstitious, or it's like, oh no, they're wearing it for a reason. And now no mass shaming here, that's for sure. If someone isn't wearing a mask, you should definitely shame them, at least until we can get this virus contained. Otherwise, people are just going to keep getting sick and keep dying, so I do not want to kill people or have them kill me. Yeah. So, yeah, whenever I traveled a lot, I'd see a lot of people from China on the plane and stuff and wearing masks. And now it totally makes sense why they would be that careful. Is it a lot?
Yes.
Ugh. I'm glad I already ate. Whenever my cat hurls, it's like The Exorcist. I mean, it's not like a normal cat. Like, I don't know how she can, like,
Fail that.
it's like a mountain of, it's like Devil's Mountain from Close Encounters. It's like you could, it's like, yeah.
Soga, why you gotta curl so much?
They call them mask holes. That's funny. I think I was mad. I think I was mad. Oh, it's funny. They weren't even visible at all. Like, she never put them on. Probably took them off to put them away after they got further into the store. Mask holes. Don't.
Oh, the people that like wear masks in the store and take them off immediately?
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens way more than a day.
Yeah, yeah.
Jack,
They're called mask holes.
Absolute turd nuggets.
Turd nuggets?
Yes.
That's another term, I guess.
We're not allowed to say anything. We're supposed to suggest.
That's no more puking.
We walked away. I could hear her calling out to me, like, say that to my face. And I'm like, bitch, you ain't wearing a mask. I don't want to be close to you. This is nice. That's funny. Don't worry, you can say bad words in my chat. I'm not gonna. Especially if you're telling a funny story about how you told people who were mask holes to get with the program. For the children. For the children. For the children. So yeah, I'm digging WandaVision. So it is kind of weird and different, and it's kind of confusing, but I am familiar with the comics, having grown up in the 80s and collecting all those Avengers books and WandaVision miniseries, and so I kind of know where this is all going and where it comes from. So it's a little easier, I guess, when the source material. It is different, but it's different enough to make it interesting because they're kind of combining it with House of M.
No spoilers.
I'm not gonna spoil. I'm just saying the source material. So they're combining the WandaVision TV show with. I mean, there were a couple of story arcs from the 80s with the Avengers, West Coast Avengers books, and which I used to collect those as well, and the WandaVision miniseries, which I have, and also with House of M. So if you're familiar with those books, I think it gives you a better idea where this is all headed.
I'll finish this tomorrow. Ready for bed.
Oh, you still haven't seen the last Avengers Endgame movie. Oh, I know. You gotta get with the program packs. It's so good. Yeah. I won't shame you, though. I just, when you see it, you should. Yeah, I think you definitely need to see that before you watch WandaVision.
Okay.
Yeah, it takes a certain kind of mindset to sit for 3 hours to watch a movie, but then yeah, you just got to be in the mood for it. Like sometimes I'll watch a movie and then I'll go back and rewatch it because I'm busy doing other things. So I may need to rewatch it to get the full.
Are you okay? Oh. I'm sorry. You're sick. I'm better now. I'm toasting up the Grado.
Usually after she gets sick, she's totally fine. It's not even a big deal.
Keep going. love him. Yeah, you're pretty. You're pretty cool.
So yeah, they were doing marathons in theaters for all the movies. Yeah, that was. I think they were doing it over the course of like three or 4 days, or like a weekend. I think it was like there was like 22 movies or something over the course of 3 days.
Bathroom breaks to pee and whatnot.
Yeah, I used to go to horror marathons back in the day in Columbus. 24 hours in a movie theater, just like 12 horror movies, all kinds of trailers and short films, and those were so fun. I don't think I could do it anymore, but
I know you could.
I know my neck would drive me crazy sitting that long. Yeah, I know, but yeah, it was fun. I missed doing the horror marathons, and watching all those horror films. Yeah, it hasn't been a problem the last 10 months going to. Yeah, it hasn't been. We haven't had that worry, have we? Though, I mean, I've been to the movies a few times. I did see like 3 or 4 movies, but I did wear my mask and social distance and made sure the theaters weren't too crowded. I think Wonder Woman was a little crowded, but that was the only one. When I saw that back in December. Yeah, see me working out that logo. And I can start blocking in the grays on this. So yeah, where you don't think any of your oh sorry, it's buffering again. I don't know why it's buffering. Oops. Come on. Gotta catch up there. Let's see. Looks like it's buffering on my end. There it goes. Yeah, what you said, none of the theaters are open. So yeah, where are you from, Paxi, where theaters aren't open? I know they closed down some of them here. We have a few that are still open in our little town, but yeah, they're not all operating at full capacity either.
my goodness. Why are you so terribly cute? Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Just turn it on the cute.
Yeah, you tremendous with you. I'm sorry you were sick. Mommy's gonna go to bed, you know what? Say, yeah, I'm gonna bite you.
I'm sure she'll come at some point.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh.
You're gonna fall and I'm gonna feel bad. Don't fall. Good night. She's like, these are all my DVDs.
Oh, yeah, she's rubbing on them.
They belong to me.
So how do I do the lettering or like figure out what to kind of do? I'm not gonna. Well, I had a
Hello.
yeah, I had a logo I was looking at for reference, and when I transferred the drawing, I just transferred the logo on top of the drawing, basically like a carbon transfer. So just trace the logo. It's kind of like here. You can see it here. See that right there? So I printed that out. Good night. And then printed that out off the internet because that was the logo I wanted to use. Was a classic, like old school logo. And then did like a little carbon transfer on the back. You can see that's some graphite there. So I rubbed it with graphite, and then I taped it down. I taped it down over the drawing, and then basically like I don't want to touch it right now because I don't want to get graphite all over it. Then I just traced it with a hard pencil, basically like a 6H. So once I taped this down onto the sketch paper or this sketch cover, I took my it's all chewed up. Jeez, look at that pencil. I didn't do that, but it's a 6H Statler, and then just traced it basically and transferred it. So as I traced it, I transferred it down, and then that's just basically how I did it. I don't normally do lettering, but for this particular sketch cover, the client requested it and he paid a little extra for it. So yeah, what if I do original stuff, or do you mostly do official work? It's kind of like half and half. I mean, it's mostly official. I mean, most of the stuff I've done, like to this point in my career, I would say the majority of it is definitely official. And with a few pieces here and there that were like, I guess you can consider fan art style pieces. But I mean, for 20 years, I've been doing official work for Lucasfilm and now Disney with Star Wars. And occasionally in between those official projects, I'll do like a fan art piece here and there, So especially these last couple of years, because I've been doing less conventions, so I've been filling that time with more like sketches and commissions for fans and more fan art type stuff the last year or two. But I mean, most of my work, like I'm working on an Iron Man painting for Marvel. for their fine art license. And I mentioned those Star Wars posters for Lucasfilm. Yeah, so I mean, there's sometimes I'll do sketch cards for tops, usually Star Wars sketch cards. So it's mostly official work for clients and publishers, and then this kind of stuff or my own fan art whenever I can squeeze it in. Like, do you take your own creative liberty and draw whatever you want in any way you want? Sort of. I mean, like, if it's for a studio or like Marvel or Lucasfilm or Disney, they want certain criteria to be met usually. Like, you know, they want the characters to look like the actors, or they want the characters to have, you know, the likenesses to be more or less intact. Like, you can be stylized. It really depends on the project, really. I mean, some artists, if they have they might get hired because their style is very decorative or painterly. But there's still usually a balance of making sure that the characters are like, you know, identifiable and the likenesses are there and stuff. But for me, since my style tends to be more realism based, it's never usually an issue anyway, because I like my art to look, especially my color work, to look realistic in a sense. Like, I know I go for realism sometimes even more so than other pieces. Again, it depends on the project. So, but because I work with likenesses in my artwork all the time anyway, like usually when they hire me, if a publisher hires me or a studio or a licensor, they kind of know what to expect, and they're like, okay, we know that you're going to do art in this certain kind of style, or this is the style we want. Within that, there is creative freedom, though. Like, you know, they could be like, hey, we want you to do a Mandalorian poster. All right, cool. Like, pitch us some ideas. And then I'm like, great. Because then I'll do some concepts in Photoshop in my computer, and I'll do some like rough designs, you know. And I'll pitch them some ideas, different designs, or, you know, sometimes it'll be a little bit more art direction. Like, they're like, well, we want to see these characters, or we want this scene. So it really just depends on what the client wants. And there's usually creative freedom within those parameters, whether I pitch them the design or the scene, or I pitch them the characters, or, you know, I get creative freedom with the coloring, maybe even the stylistic choices of the art. You know, part of being a successful illustrator is knowing how to work with a client and within those parameters, so you can, you know, find a happy middle ground where they're happy with the work you give them, and then you feel fulfilled. You know, because you're getting to do something you love, and it's a design that you made, or it's a painting or drawing that you illustrated. So, you know, there's always going to be creative freedom to a lesser or larger extent, depending on what the project is and what the client is asking for, whatever you get hired for specifically. So yeah, it's not ever, and especially if you love the property, like you know, I love Marvel, I love Iron Man and Avengers, and I'm getting to do a painting for that. So even though they have kind of a certain theme for the piece, and they want to see certain characters, I get creative freedom in like drawing the piece and designing it and staging the scene and all that. So, you know, there's always a freedom to it. There's the Phantom. Oh no, it's fine. Ask all the questions. No, it's cool. Totally. Yeah. I don't mind talking about what I do for a living or how it works or what it is I do and how it's fun. It's fun to talk about it, but it's fun to do it too. So I don't mind. I don't mind sharing all the knowledge. I feel like I want to beef up these borders a little bit. Like the bamboo. I feel like I want to go a little heavier on the edges. Like this one's getting a little thin, unfortunately, but I can fix it. And I'm not going to ink the background. You can see there's a big moon. There's some clouds, a starry sky, some foliage, jungle foliage back there. So I'm going to leave that pencil and I'm going to color that in so it's softer. I don't want the hard black lines to distract from the line art of the figure. I guess I'll start filling them in. I can start filling in some of these blacks. Let's see how that goes. Looks like I've been going for, not quite 3 hours yet. So maybe I'll get these blacks in. We'll see how I feel once I get these done. Can't really see what I'm doing down there. Move this up a little bit. So you can see where I marked some of those little X's earlier. And again, that's a little inker trick. That just tells me when I go back, or if I wasn't inking this and someone else was inking it, then I could hand them this artwork and they could look at it and go, oh, I need to fill in the blacks here, and this is where the solid blacks go and all that. So that's why that is the way that is. I'll have to go in some of the smaller areas and fill them in with a smaller pen, but I can kind of knock out the big areas. Something like the shadow on the bottom of the shoulder there. And then I'll go back and say, take this pen, start filling in some of those areas. And then I'll kind of taper the lines a little bit too. Add a little bit of line weights to some of these feathering. And that's all this is here. It's just feathering right there. It gives the illusion of gradation. So like here's the solid black, and then those lines are feathering lines, which in comic book art or high contrast graphic art, it just gives the illusion that there's some, shadows are going to fade in that area. And that signifies to me when I color this, I know, oh, okay, I can go darker here with the grays and then fade it out into some lighter grays into the costume. And this is going to, obviously the Phantom's purple, so, but I'm not going to paint, I'm not going to color him purple. I'm going to do this like a grayscale cover, like a sketch. So if he wanted color, I would have charged more for the color version, so to do full color. So when I do grayscale, I can just kind of turn my brain off and not have to think about color balance and color design and getting the right kind of grays and within the colors. This way I can just be like, oh, yeah, we'll just keep it gray and keep it simple. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. Glad you're digging it. Thank you. Just keep going. I'm filling in the blacks here. We could do the mask now. I think once the mask gets filled in, it'll really start to feel a little more comic booky. I'll have to go around the eyes with a smaller pen. But you can start to see I'm kind of shading around some of the highlights, some of the nose area. Oh yeah, this isn't Rex. I need to change my... That was my old... Oh well, I can go back and retitle it. I forgot to change my title. Oops. My Twitch. I did it on Twitter. I changed it, but I guess I didn't do it on Twitch. You know, the last one I did, I think the last time I was streaming, I did a Captain Rex sketch. Let's see, how do I want to do this here? Let's do this. I'll come back and hit those smaller areas. Alright, let's start to fill in. Drop the lid to this. Yeah, you have to learn how to use, you don't want to use a big tip to do the, usually when I do the, I'll get close to the edge, but I don't go up to the edge with the big tips, because you have to learn how to shift gears and use the right tools for the right spots. And plus, when I do this, after I fill it in, I can go back and kind of reshape the lines a little bit as I'm filling it in, and I can like tighten it up and add some more line weights here and there. So yeah, that's the benefit of doing it this way. And everyone has their techniques. You know, I've been doing this a long time, so I have my method. You know, my style and my method to my madness, basically. And because it's kind of harder to get line weights with tech pens. It's because it's a tip, right? Like, I mean, it's just it's a set tip, but like with like a brush or a crow quill pen, which is like a dip pen, you can actually feather your lines as you're inking, so you can get varied line weights with one stroke. And that's why a lot of comic art back in the day was especially done, it was inked with brushes and crow quill pens, which I used to do too when I first started out. And it's much easier. They're trickier tools to control. You have to be really delicate, but you can also, you know, you get some really expressive art that way. So when you're inking with a tech pen, you don't get the varying line weight. I actually have to go back over the line and go, okay, I want to beef this up, make it heavier on the back on the shadow side. Whereas on the light side, I want the line thinner. So I want to do like a softer. I still want the line to have some line weight. You don't want a dead weight line, but you don't want it to be as heavy as, say, like the shadow side. So everything you draw has a light source. And usually if you simplify it down to one light source, maybe two, but if you keep it simple and do one light source, like my primary light source is coming from this way, right? So there's some backlight though. So I'm doing two light sources because I have a moon back here, but that's a little more complex. But I'm still thinking like, okay, primary light source is coming this way. There's a cast shadow under his jaw, under his nose. So there's a light source above coming from left to right. So this will be the light side and this will be the shadow side. So I'll have some heavier lines here and then I'll have some thinner lines on the left side. Granted, I went a little bold here, but I kind of cheated a little bit. I probably would go back and thin these just a little bit more, but it is what it is. So it's also because the way I wanted to give his anatomy here a little more, I wanted to pop it out a little bit more from the bushes, so I went a little heavier on the shoulder and on the deltoid, but my primary light source is from above, left to right, and so I'm going to keep my lighter lines on the left side, and most of my heavier lines will be on this side for the most part, if not counting these, which I kind of fibbed a little, but that was my personal choice to do that because I wanted the muscle definition to be there. And when you're doing comic art, it's like once you know the rules, you can kind of bend them and break them sometimes. As long as the most ultimate thing is if it looks good, then do it. Like as long as it looks good, because there's a lot of comic art out there that's not anatomically correct or it's not inked with light sources correctly. It may look really cool, but it may not be 100% correct. And in comic books, what matters is, ultimately, as long as it looks really cool, right? So you can break the rules once you know them. And if you have a good grasp on the rules, you know where you can bend things a little here and there. And that's for me doing, a lifetime of doing this stuff. Lifetime. Like, it feels like a lifetime. I mean, I've been drawing my whole life, really. And I'll go back in and I'll probably soften that with once I do the color, I'll do some color pencil and kind of soften some of the chunkier lines where I want to thin them out, make them a little lighter. It's a delicate process, but yeah, the line's really good with the quill. Yep. Yeah, the quill pens, the crow quill pens, I used to use those all the time, and I loved using them. They give a certain look, and you can ink really fast with them once you get a handle on them. But they can be tricky to clean, and they can get junked up pretty quickly. Usually when you use crow quill, you have to have like a bunch of nibs, like spare nibs, just in case one breaks or doesn't work right. Because they can be pretty delicate too. But yeah, I used to use crow quill pens all the time, and I used to use brushes more for inking. It's more of the traditional way to inking. I mean, nowadays you don't even really have to ink necessarily because so much of comic art is digital. I mean, really, you can just like do really tight pencils, scan the pencils. They don't even need to be inked necessarily, and I've done that quite a bit too. So here I'm going more the traditional route with the inking and stuff, but let's see. I'm gonna shade in his ear, and I'll shade in the gun, and then we'll do the hand. Now I gotta do with this shadow here, which I can't forget this. Let's go ahead and put those X's in so I remember. Mental note, this is just like sort of like color hold lines that I've inked, because I'm gonna have like I'm gonna have reflected light on the back of him, on the back edge. So like all the way on the back of his head, all the way down the back of his neck here. I'll probably have some really strong white light. And then I'll have some on the front of his face, because again, my light source, this shadow is just because it's like to show that this is a darker colored costume, and I wanted to have some shadow on his on his costume there. It's kind of like a Batman thing. Like, if you ever look at how artists draw Batman, just to signify that his costume is dark, even if it doesn't make sense with the light source, oftentimes they'll put like on his forehead like this big, it's not like a cast shadow, it's almost like a fabric shadow, I would say. And it just signifies that that's not skin, that's costume, that's fabric. And I kind of did that here for the Phantom. I wanted, I might tone it down a little bit, but we'll see. I'm kind of digging it how it is, so I probably went a little bold with it, but again, it doesn't really make sense for the light source, but it's like a comic book stylistic choice that, you know, not everything makes sense in comic art, so you can kind of break the rules a little here and there. I'll go back in. I'm just shading in the ear right now. I'll go back in and tighten that up. We got a shadow on the neck here. I'll come back in and fill that in. Tighten up the edges. So gotta do the gun. Let's go ahead and fill those before I get carried away. I don't want to forget so many spots. I think after I get this inked in, I might end up taking a break and then come back tomorrow night and we'll do the markers. We'll see here. I think it's been a pretty successful 3-hour stream, so I don't want to drag on all night. We'll see how this goes here. Definitely going to take a really quick drink break and assess the situation. Yeah, it took me about 3 hours to ink this, and then probably say it took me like, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half to draw it. So then, yeah, I'm definitely putting in way more time than what this customer paid me for, but it's okay. He's a cool guy, and I want to make sure he's happy with this. Normally, you know, maybe after I inked it, I'd be like, okay, that's your money's worth right there. That's like almost 6 hours worth of what he paid me for this. So, but yeah, I'm going above and beyond with this one. I'm going to give him a fully rendered cover for this sketchbook that he's having me do. So yeah, I don't always do that, but sometimes I like to make sure the customer's happy. And if I'm doing something fun like this on a live stream, it's like, well, I'll push it a little further. We'll add all the extra accoutrements, all the little flourishes, and see I'm putting in the shadow of the gun there. Let's go ahead and let's finish this out. Then I have to fill in the hand. You know what time it is? Yeah, it's 2 a.m. Yeah, it's getting there, isn't it? I think I started around 11. All right, so almost there. I'll probably go back and hit some areas off camera before I start doing all the gray parts. All right. Yeah, I mean, it's not really hourly, though I do try to keep tabs on how long I spend on a piece. So, like this one, I don't want to say what he paid me for it, but I kind of know ahead of time, like, okay, like I know how long, like if they say I want a head sketch of this, and then I'm like, okay, that sounds good, and then I'll quote a price, and if they're cool with it, then I I try to keep myself within those confines, and in this case I'm going a little bit above and beyond because they didn't really ask for a background, and they didn't really ask for full grayscale, but I mean, they did pay me decently, but for what I'm giving them, I probably would charge them a few more $100 than what they paid. So this really depends. Like, if I know, like, if I were to do this at a Comic-Con and someone's like, "Here's a cover, can you draw this?" and I know that I only have like 2 or 3 or 4 hours that day at a Comic-Con to draw something. I kind of know, oh, okay. In this case, since I'm not under, I can ship this out whenever. And I don't have, like, I know that I don't have to have it done by the end of a day at a Comic-Con, for some guy who's going to come back to my table to pick it up. So I can actually spend a little more time beefing it up and playing with it. But if I know I don't have the time, then I'll just be like, okay, I know I can only have this much time. I'm not on a time limit at home per se, though I do try to not go too crazy when they only pay a certain amount. So it's like, so yeah, I might be giving him a little bit more for his bargain, but he's actually commissioned me before, and so I know, like, if he's happy with these, he'll commission me again, and I'll, if I need to, I can charge a little more next time, and he won't have a problem with it. But yeah, it's a little different at conventions because I'm kind of under a tighter schedule, and I'm drawing at a show. But if I'm drawing at home, I can fudge my own rules a little bit and do a little bit more, put a little bit more extra effort into some stuff. I like surprising my customers with some really cool pieces. So now, if I didn't have the time, if I was under deadline, which I kind of am anyway, I actually do have a deadline for that Iron Man painting, but still, like, if I'm not under extreme pressure at the moment, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll spend a few more extra hours on this piece, like tighten it up, make it look really good, because I'm not in a rush to get it done if I'm at home. If I don't have an editor yelling at me. That's looking pretty good. Oh, sorry, I was inking in down here. So yeah, there's his hand. There's the gun. There's the Phantom. Got a logo in there. A background. So yeah, it's a good place to maybe take a break for a minute. Yeah, I mean, I give my rates. Like, you can actually see my commission rates if you go on my website, which is right up. You see in the upper left corner right there. If you visit joecaroni.com, or if you scroll through my Instagram there, or even on my Facebook, you'll find my commission rates, or you can always just message me and I let people know what they are. But yeah, it's not like a secret or anything. I put them out there, I advertise them. But in this case, you know, he paid me a set amount to do basically what I'm showing you right here, minus the. Actually, he did pay extra for the logo. He paid me extra for the logo, so he paid for this and he paid for all this. And normally, I might tighten up the drawing on the background and go, okay, there you go. But I'm actually gonna put some rendering, spend another few hours on it, and give it some gray and some white so it looks kind of like that Poe sketch there. So yeah. So yeah, if you ever have any commission artist questions, feel free to message me. I can help you out. So cool. I think I'm gonna call this one quits for tonight, but we'll come back tomorrow. What is tomorrow? I could probably come back tomorrow afternoon. We'll come back tomorrow afternoon and try to wrap this up. Tomorrow's Wednesday, so maybe afternoon or early evening. I'll jump on earlier tomorrow. All right, cool. Thanks everyone. I really appreciate you hanging out. Thanks Paxi, you're awesome. I appreciate all the questions. It keeps me occupied as opposed to a really boring stream where I'm just drawing. So having questions to answer are always good. Anytime. And thanks for hanging out. And we'll come back tomorrow and try to wrap this up. All right. Cool. Thanks, everyone. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. I'm not sure yet, but probably early evening, maybe. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Late afternoon, early evening, maybe like 6 or 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. Thank you.